This is Robert Spears with Optimized Trading. I am a managing partner with the firm and filling in for Brian Miller, who's our head quantitative strategist, and he's experiencing some technical difficulties right now. So hopefully we'll be able to work those out and move forward on his end. But at this juncture, I'll go ahead and take over the meeting and introduce ourselves. But first, let's just talk. We're going to have some charts here later, and just as a disclaimer purpose, all these are based on historical performance. They're not indicative of future results. They're for educational purposes only for the presentation. But Brian and I's relationship goes back to 2014 when we founded the firm, and we had met the year before, started discussing, my background. I spent approximately 20 years on the sell side of the equity business prior to coming into the future business in 2003. Worked a lot on the managed side of the futures business. And Brian had been developing systems and products and concepts for 8 to 10 years on his own for his own personal trading. And so upon our conversations, it made perfect sense for us to marry the two and start the business. So, he primarily takes care of the back end of the business, if you will, doing the design, the development, all the adaptive solutions of the firm, creating the content. And then I tend to work on the front, doing the marketing and handling the business aspect. But, having said that, let's jump into the process. It's important to us to have a process. And that is one of the keys to success in any form of life, but particularly in the investment world. And so we focus on a number of different areas, and we'll get into those, but this lists several. When he looks at this, we look at performance and risk objectives. We adapt these to the individual markets or the asset on this basis. Then obviously we're looking at multiple frequencies, whether it be swing trading, which we'll get into when I talk a little bit later about our micro products. But we'll also look at the shorter term frequencies as well. Then he does a lot of work as far as matching up strategic concepts to which work optimally in each individual market. For example, on the algo side, when we develop a product, what we have on the ES or the E-mini S&P is going to be different than what we're doing with the Russell or the NASDAQ, because we adapt those to the characteristics of the individual markets. Okay. And here are a number of analytics that when we're going through this process, that we, that Brian digs into, does a deep dive, does the testing. A lot of different variables are involved as far as, behavioral analysis, frequency patterns, random and cyclic values, dynamic adjustments or controls or variables, and again, market classifications. But these are just a few of the different items that are considered when building or creating any of our products. I just mentioned the algorithms, but we also, as you'll see, and we'll get into discuss, we also have indicators, strategies, templates, fully automated strategies, and a couple of other new items that we'll be rolling out here over the next couple of weeks that I'll touch on here shortly. Here are other things on the indicator side of the function and objectives that we have built into the process. And, we do look to have a specific purpose for each one, and to make those creatively as simple as possible. Because complexity matters at some levels it does not. On the concepts, we're all familiar with momentum and reverting, and those can apply to different markets. For example, back in 2017, 28, particularly, you had a really reverting market in the ES, and you could buy any dip and sell it on the bounce. The NASDAQ, for example, tends to be more of a momentum-based market. So these are the type of factors that we try to individually align with each particular product in each particular market. And, some of the important items that are built into the process: price, volume, momentum, volatility. Because we can't stress enough. I mean, we've all experienced lately the record level in volatility across all asset classes. When you hear guys talking about the VIX above 80, but you cross over and look at the GVZ in gold, or look at the MOVE index in bonds, they've all, or the OVX for crude, they've all been running at historically high levels. So volatility obviously is an important part of our process, in our modeling, in our indicators, in anything that we do. Now, on the future side, as far as the algorithms go, those can be long or short. For example, we had a nice short trade I think Tuesday into Wednesday, as far as the market is concerned, but they will, some of the equity-based products, on the ETFs and the stocks, will tend to have more of a long-term linear bias, but the futures-based products will seek long and short opportunities. And then those can be based on fundamental, behavioral, technical, quantitative, a number of different processes on that basis. And then obviously, we're all concerned with risk. I mean, when you have a market today, for example, and we've seen it again today in the indices, when we came out with that negative 6.6 million print this morning on the weekly jobless claims, and the market took a nosedive and rallied off the bottom. We're currently seeing it. We use different measures of risk and exit protocols that are built into each and every strategy, and they also contain a maximum stop loss. Should we hit that, which can vary from the opening position. As that position matures, that number can change. It's not always a number that's just set on that basis. Systematic structures. This is another level that Brian uses to build into the process. We went over strategic concepts. He uses a number of dynamic money management principles and concepts. We have multiple profit exits, multiple loss exits. What the NPL exits are is neither profit nor loss. As far as, and those dynamically adjust, particularly on the algos, when we talk about those here on the coming slides, for the micros in particular, those dynamically adjust on a daily basis based on closing values. Now, when we look at the algos, we're a big believer with when the exchange rolled out the micros or the MES products last spring, that this is a great opportunity. And Brian recognized this from the beginning. I have to admit, I did not. I did not see the potential, but here is a way to go in and position and trade the futures markets with reduced risk and be able to do it with multiple entries, and with each of those being dynamic. And let me give you an example. This is our Atlas, is this particular line of products in the micros. And the C10, what the 10 is the 10 means it can take up to a maximum of 10 positions in total. Now, it wouldn't take more than 3 or 4 at a time, but it can hold as much as 10. And at some levels, that'll mean averaging in. You know, if we buy at a certain level and the market drops, and let's say it picks up additional contracts, and if the market drops again, it could pick up additional contracts. But what really makes this exceptionally dynamic is that each of those individual positions, let's say, for example, with the 10, we had a 4 and a 3 and a 3, and it was fully loaded. Each of those positions will trade independent of each other. It's not where we just average down and then they all get out at the same time. For example, position 2 and position 3 can trade around position 1, and they can take profits while position 1 might technically be at a loss at that particular point in time. So we have found through our research that increased our outcome and our efficiency levels, and obviously what we're all looking for, increased our opportunity for success in making money in the markets. So that is an integral part of our process on the micros. And we have several that we have developed. I've just got a couple of slides to talk about 2 today, but we have, for example, a micros that trades up to 3 contracts, each independently, 1, 1, 1, where we have a suggested minimum, for example, of $5,000. Then we have a micro 6, which can trade a max of 2 contracts at a time, up to a fully loaded at 6. And then we have a 10 and an HR. And I just went over the 10. You see the screenshot in front of you. You see the activity. You see the trading all the way down here from the peak on February 19th to the recent lows, I think, which were around March 13th. And the activity that we've had in the month of March. And we were net positive in those accounts for the month on a performance basis. You know, with the 10, what the HR does is the HR is a little more aggressive version of the 10. It can hold up to 10 contracts, but where, let's say, if the MES 10, for example, I just showed you the slide on, it might take a 2 contract position. HR, and that simply stands for high risk. HR can take up to a 4 contract position. So that increases the volatility, but it also increases the performance. And you can see here in the month of March, you know, this particular one, we recommend a $12,500 investment, you know, made $4,700, $4,800 for the month. And we're already off to a good start because we had the short trade here the other day. We've had 2 trades. They've both been profitable. So it's been able to catch some of the swings. Not that there haven't been losses along the way, there have, but those have been the net results after, you know, the profits and losses, as far as what we see here on the performance summary on the left. And you also notice that, you know, we tend to trade more actively during periods of higher volatility. Notice that in March we had 18 trades, but if you look at the prior 6 months, there may have been some months we just had a trade, some months we had 2, some we had 6 or 7. So the system's not designed to try to trade once a week, twice a week. It's designed to look for opportunities and to pursue those opportunities based upon the underlying principles and guidelines of the system. Now I'm going to jump ahead a little bit and talk about we have two websites. One is OptimizedTrading.com, and that focuses on the algorithms that I just spoke about. Because besides the micros, and we're just covering that element today, we also have E-mini contracts in the S&P, NASDAQ, and the Russell, and we also trade a gold, on that basis. So those are available too, because typically what we like to see a client do is to hold a diversified portfolio of an ES product, whether it be micros or minis, and then the Russell, the NASDAQ, and gold. And out of this, all of our products, the only one for March that had a loss based on the underlying performance of the algorithms would have been Russell had a slight loss for the month. The others had marginal profits to bigger profits, depending on which program you chose. And you can find more of those again at OptimizedTrading.com. Now, what we've also done, besides being able to offer, trading algorithms and automated trading systems on the Optimized Trading site, we wanted to provide traders and investors other products that they can use on their own. So we developed another website called Optimize Your Trading, and I kind of refer to it as a content site. So on this site, we currently have a number of different indicators, and this gives you an idea of some of the different categories of indicators that we've built primarily. These are the brainchild of Brian. And based on his experience and concepts that he's developed and worked on, over the last decade or better. But, you can see from directional momentum to strength to frequency, trending and reverting, pattern recognition type of products, volatility. We've tried to cover a number of different classifications and categories to give you some variety on that basis. Now, a number, and those are primarily for those of us who want to use something to supplement our trading. Because I'm assuming the majority of you listening today have a plan. You're looking for additional ideas to enhance your probability for success and your overall returns for your accounts. And that's where the indicators come in, that we think there's some good value there. But what we also did is we developed some strategy templates and fully developed strategies. And I'll jump down here first to the strategy templates. I kind of got ahead of myself. But what the strategy templates are is, and you can get these in closed or open code, and these give you a number of working pieces and parts inside that allow you to create and build, with a template or a chassis, if you will, that gives you all the tools. And then you can take those tools and use those to build a particular strategy for your own personal use. So there's a lot more flexibility there, and we have a variety of different ones to choose from here. And or you can use different ones, like I see an NPL model, not for profit or loss, but things to complement, or money management models that could complement what you're already doing. Use them as an overlay to effectively enhance your own trading success. So here's something more for the do-it-yourselfer, and there's a lot of us out there who like to get in and build and grind it and do the work, and these are some excellent side-by-side strategies to use, and I would highly recommend you go to our Optimize Your Trading website and check those out. But then what we also wanted to do was to offer because most of the other products, all of our algos are futures related. Well, not everybody trades futures, or that's a smaller part of your portfolio, as it should be anyway on an allocation basis. So, you know, a number of us have more interest as far as the larger part of our portfolios looking at stocks and ETFs. So we're still in the early stages of building this out, but what we have done here is to offer fully developed systematic strategies. So you can take these and plug them in to a platform, for example, like a TradeStation or a NinjaTrader or MultiCharts, and let them run independently. And you know, so far we have the SPY and the Russell utilities and energy, I think consumer discretionary, consumer staples, and we're continuing to build those out because we want to cover most of the, let's say, the top dozen ETF products. So you can give yourself diversification on that basis. And we'll also offer discounts, you know, for anybody who wants to do multiple units. We're certainly open to doing that. And one important element as well, we follow up, you know, what you get from us. So if you get the SPY growth, for example, that you see here in the upper left-hand corner, that entitles you to a couple of sessions with Brian to help you get it set up, answer any questions. You know, he can do it phone, Skype, you know, however you choose to you know, execute it on that basis. But you know, we will stand behind what we do and help you get those up and running properly. And you know, that's Brian's bailiwick. He's excellent. He'll get you to where you need to go in a hurry. But this is just you know, an area that we think most investors are going to want to diversify into, as far as maximizing potential in the different ETF product areas. You know, those have exploded, you know, in the last couple of decades. I can remember in the 90s when these were first being talked about. And if you look at the growth that's been in that sector, it's just been phenomenal. So there's a lot of trading activity, a lot of opportunity. You know, follow up with us on this. Brian will be happy to discuss with you, explain anything to you even before the sale. And you know, we'll be happy to do a deep dive there and explain those to you. Here are a number of different open and closed options on the strategy template side, which I mentioned earlier. For primarily, if you're looking to do this on your own, you know, this will help complement. There's profit models, again, money management models, and other areas here on the systematic strategy side that we offer. It's unfortunate that, you know, you did not get to hear the particulars from him today, because he could really, you know, go behind the curtain and give you a lot more information. But I appreciate your patience bearing with me to kind of explain to you and let you know what we do, how we do it, and how it can benefit your trading. Now, here are a couple examples. You know, we also are doing some blue chip stocks. Here is one on AT&T. And there's also a compounding allocation management module built into it. And you can see the chart here on the right that I'm pointing to with the green. Now, obviously, these are hypotheticals, just to remind you of that, but it lets you know the potential that exists, you know, with the products. And you'll see with the trading along the actual curve or the price pattern on the left, you know, how it can take advantage of the movements up and down as far as buying and selling value. But these are primarily long only, and it will just you know, add to positions, take profits, and do that along the way of the price curve as the market progresses. Now, a couple areas we're really excited about. Brian's been doing some work, and we're getting ready to release this particular program next week on April the 8th, and it's our allocation model. And what it is it's a dynamic allocation model, as it states here, programmed as a basic strategy. And what it would do, for example, let's say you're trading 100,000 in a particular market. It's going to be able to identify the optimal points, looking at different environments and substructures and other, other points of data to give you an idea and dynamically adjust your percentage exposure. So let's say you want to have a percentage exposure in the S&P, and regardless of your account size, whether that's 10,000, 100,000, or a million, this would give you a percentage to be exposed in that particular area at any particular point in time, and that updates daily. We're going to offer it as a daily, weekly, and monthly service, and something that can really confirm, even not only as an add-on to improve your trading efficiency and profitability, but also to confirm what you're doing on your own on that basis. So a lot of great opportunities here for you to really complement your current trading with the different products. You can go to our website, that's optimizeyourtrading.com. Sign up for the newsletter. We'll inform you when some of these come out. And even going back to the algos, you can sign up for it as we have additional products. We'll be happy to inform you and keep you on the list as well. Now, one of the other exciting areas that we'll be diving into, and we plan to launch this on April the 13th in about a week and a half, is our live trading room. Brian's been doing a lot of work. We have some particular clients already that we're doing some trading activity with. And so we wanted to expand that and offer that to additional investors. And, this is going to be intraday and swing positions. It's primarily going to focus in stocks and ETFs, but futures will be involved. He'll review, a variety of different setups with you, discretionary, systematic, go over the methodology, give you the analyticals behind it and the process behind it, on a daily basis in the live room. As you can see there, we're going to be focusing on ETFs, large cap stocks, but we'll also be, putting out information regarding futures opportunities, and those will primarily be in the micros, like we discussed earlier. But you can take that and apply it across your own particular strategy, whether that be in the minis or the micros. But we're going to look at it from the micro perspective, as far as our recommendations will be considered. And these will be on a variety of frequencies. The algos that we have available, for example, are primarily swing systems on the micro ES. But we will also, as you're in the room, Brian's going to look at a number of different points beyond daily, 45-minute, 5-minute, 90-second frequencies and bars in order to make decisions on an even shorter term basis. The room will be open from 9 to 12 in the morning and 1:30 to 4 in the afternoon. All out of session trade recommendations or identifications will be made. So let's say, for example, if we get something in the evening session of the futures on the micros, for example, that would be something that we would tweet out to you. And we're going to be bringing special on this for anybody coming in. We'll do it at $27, and it would just be $127 for every month on the following month. But really excited about this because one of our goals from the beginning of Brian and I forming the business was to make a difference, was to help people grow their nest eggs, grow their portfolios, and be better traders and better investors. And that's been, the core of what we have set out to do from the design and the implementation and the delivery stage from the very beginning. Now, granted, you're going to have some bumps along the way. Those are just the markets. But we'll continue to learn from those and get better. And, I would highly recommend anybody who is interested in a live room to go in and give this a trial, once we get this up and running here in the middle of April. And since we don't have to worry about April 15th this year, since they've deferred it to July 15th, we've got a little extra time to focus on trading, for example. So, please pay attention to that. I think it'll be a great opportunity, something you'll want to look into. Here are a couple of recent trading examples, live executions in the room. And I wish Brian were here to explain them a little bit more, but you can see that we're using a number of different metrics on the right to make decisions. And then you actually see the actual execution in the left hand. This is based off AT&T in a 5-minute chart. So it just gives you a bit of a feel of some of what kind of content that you're going to see in the room. Here's some additional examples looking at SPY and XLE, or the energy ETF, which we've seen a lot of activity, obviously, in that market, with crude hitting high of 62 in January, and now we're looking at 20 prior to today. We had a big bump up today on some news, but essentially what that's done is create opportunities. And here Brian will be discussing these, whether they be in the SPY, XLE, SPY on the left, XLE on the right, and energy, because there will be swing trading and day trading opportunities on either side. And he'll be discussing those, going through the setups. And obviously you have the latitude of taking those yourself or not. But once you get comfortable with the system, see the money that you can make potentially, and I think it'll be something that you're going to want to pursue. Here are some live monthly results so far. And let's see. But just to recap, what we do as a firm is, we deliver two general areas with our optimizedtrading.com site. If you have an interest in looking at automated trading strategies and algorithmic type strategies, that's what you want to do to complement your trading. We've had a number of investors do that over time to use those particular programs to complement what we're doing on the other side, let's say in the trading room, using your own different strategies, whatever that might be. And the micros are just a really attractive way to participate. We also have relationships with brokers. If you do not have one on that side that we can recommend, they can contact you to set up the account to take care of the execution side, because we do not do that. And then again, we have the content site, which we talked about, which again goes down and looks at all the different indicators, the strategy templates, and the fully developed strategies. David, could I see questions at the bottom at all? I just see my page.
Yeah, there's not any questions yet, but yeah, if anyone...
Because I'm a little ahead of schedule, since Brian would have filled it in with more content.
Right.
I just didn't know if
yeah, if anyone has any questions, just go ahead and type them in the chat right now.
Because I just see my screen. I don't see questions.
If you move your cursor up to the top of the screen, the Zoom window will come up. The Zoom window will come up, and you can click on the, I think you'll have to click on the 3 dots and then hit chat. Do you see what I'm talking about?
I do not.
Okay. Well, there aren't any questions yet.
I see it now.
Okay.
Okay. And there's chat. Is that under more?
Yeah.
Okay. David, we're a little ahead of schedule if we don't have any questions. You know, I would just kind of wrap up and say, you know, here are we with the content side, and that's what we covered most of today. You know, our website is optimizeyourtrading.com. You can reach Brian and I at our respective emails. And I would encourage you, if you had any questions, to reach out to him. You know, I apologize again. We just had some technical difficulties on his end. You know, we're all working from home during this current particular crisis that we're in. And I know he had some audio difficulties with his microphone being able to get on. So I appreciate everyone's patience. Hope you guys stay safe and healthy out there, and you know, look forward to hearing from you.
All right. Thanks, Robert.
Okay. You're welcome. David, thank you, and thank Anka for the opportunity.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Bye-bye.